Yeah, those are messed up, no. Bad news is to beat your home, nigga. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, get on that ass real quick one time. 144, baby.
They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they trade that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me whole thought. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Wait up, let me make a call right quick. I'ma start another war. I was hurting when she left, but I don't care about any part. I need a Vaselina like my Nina Puffer bar. Took a sock, watch the dark. Matter of fact, like a dart. Any problem, let them come. We gon' snatch they soul like Shang-Chi. Put them out of service, keep them tools like Miss Harvey. Try to hope me, it's way too late. I'm headed straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. I'm that nigga, ain't no debate. Throw them boys, we taking notes. Call them up like Saturday. This shit a piece of cake. Yeah, my bitches came from Whole Foods. Told them put on that top 3. Then bring me my house shoes. Don't make excuses, make moves. These niggas ungrateful, gotta show them UPK rules. I make hits like I can't lose. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said of course. Soon as they trade that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, the whole part. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the fart. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Yeah, I just got off the call. I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas, get your knife and your fork. They ain't locked in with the counting when you speaking to me fart. Yeah, I just took the floor. Ain't no cowards in my campaign. They can't stop the campaign. Tell them bring the champagne. They know I'm a champion. They can see the outcome. Get them niggas bad, got them tied down and outdone. You can't do with them steppers, niggas been down since day one. We run up the bands, bitch, like Dylan. They say you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they trade that beat, I read that bitch just like a horse. Yeah, about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, we whole part. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low, so that bitch is either or. I told you niggas, you ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our car. And I just made it call. We gon' start another war. Yeah.
All jokes aside, you know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life, this and that for life. I'm on West for life, nigga, this a blood oath. Hey, yo, Madara, here go a class for you, my nigga. 144 the rebel.
The world turned its back on me. I'm a cripple. We got soldiers, he got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out, I tell you once. Don't pray for nothing, send a curse. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Remain in them trenches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. If rank is given, have your respect to your apprentice. Be about your business, disloyalties and death sentence. Look, trying to pick up with a blind fit. They said there'll be many mansions. I'm just grinding for my time share. Them devils ain't playing fair. They hunt you like bad pal, but ain't no getting out the game like Jumanji. You take that oath, it's a Dundee. Try to deal death to a priest. You won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times and it's death do us part. No. So how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people go this zone. And the Lord said they hate you for my name. So you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing. Ain't no more questions. Make sure my election till I'm tucked away like George Jetson. Murder for capital, now it's murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement, we like fuck 'em, raise it. I pity those watching life as it goes by.
Been giving mercy in his life, I don't know why. In Pop Smoke, never tried to. The dead at home, my brother be the dead, it's all I don't. In the photo, salute my nigga, salute my nigga. They like, how you stay focused? I told them I'm motivated cause of you, my nigga. Brotherhoods and weapons, still got weapons on the scene. Now I never do my niggas like Bishop did Raheem. Never mind in all beliefs, they under anesthesia. Shorty say she leaving, said she wanna let that love go. Told I let that love grow. But if I bring you to my bed, that's a blood oath. So, how you feel about this truth out the show? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want even your own people gon' disown. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Yeah, yeah.
You boy. You know what time it is, nigga. Better watch how you step in. Yeah. But that was my niggas. Yeah. I'm in it, yo. Got my nigga Ramon with me. But that was my niggas, it'll be an honor. You know what I'm saying? Under commanding general, your honor. It'll be an honor and a blessing. Look, hey, straight off the top, I love all of my niggas. That shit ain't gon' stop till we on top and we ballin', my nigga. We be fly as fuck, you know them bitches be stalking my niggas. That shit'll never change and it's the same with all my niggas. City to city, I should be at home. That's what my ribs say. But bitch, I'm grown, I'm in these streets and closed caption. Niggas know we bout that action. If a nigga play with me, then my Hakim gon' let him have it. Hey, make you the shit, this truth the shit. Nigga play, I let that Ruger hit. Get on them tracks, they be like, who is this? I'm rude with it. Ain't got no manners, all them pussy niggas talk the shit. Yeah, I know they can't stand us, but we UPK Louisiana, bitch, that's what I'm reppin'. And my niggas solid number, real ones in my section. If you wanna get down, put your boots on, start stepping. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood I lay my life down right now for all my sisters and brothers, because I love them, I see them dapping and hug them. It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of sin, trapped in the gutter. My mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Run with them killers, so it's just a matter of time. For why take your life or let you take mine? That's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man live to get old. We in them graves, the shit got me feeling played. I opened the Bible, went through them records, found out we was royalty, a nation to be respected. But in this world we rejected, we hated for our complex. Still fighting to get accepted. We hear the truth and reject it, but love is getting corrected. And all my niggas correct me. The commandments, the foundation we erected. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon.
All right, let's clap it up. Shalom, Israel. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. This is the Monday night scripture breakdown class. We teach every Monday here in Killeen, Texas, off of 8th Street. You got any questions, you go put them in the chat. Questions in the room, you go ahead and raise your hand. We've been teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible since 1969. Something that your Christian pastors have been ill-equipped to do for a while. You know what I mean? Where you go in that Christian church and you get you a good old concert. You get you a good old concert, and they'll feed you a whole plate of abomination. You know what I mean? And they will mishandle your children and your women. You know what I mean? They will turn your men effeminate. But you're gonna go in that Christian church and you're gonna leave with the same amount of knowledge of your culture and identity in the Bible as you did when you first came in. You're gonna have nothing. That's because your Christian pastors are ill-equipped to teach you the Bible because they don't know the Bible. You know what I mean? But here in the ISUPK is where you can actually get answers. You can ask your question, you get them answered, and if we don't know the answer, we're not gonna make something up like your Christian pastors. We'll just go to the men above us who've been studying this Bible, who've been trained in this thing. Who've been here for decades and have suffered and sweated and bled and been homeless and did all these different things trying to uphold this truth so that we can live and not die. You know what I mean? There's so many, but that Christian church, it makes sure Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have no understanding. And we're gonna get into why. If you look at this past week, been hell. Well, actually, since the New Year began, since the so-called holiday season began, where we scramble every year to get these Christmas gifts and let's put that turkey on the table for Thanksgiving, and we scrambling, trying to make sure you wash all your clothes and take all your trash out on December 31st so that you don't go into the new year. You make sure you scramble to fulfill every single suspicion that you learned as a child. And, come January 1st, it has been nonstop hell. If you look at California right now, we'd have had, we'd have had what was it? Some mass shootings. It's been several terrorist attacks. You look at California right now, you look at it looks like literal hell. Whatever you imagine when you think of hell. I wanted to play a video. So I wish I got here earlier, but you look at them, you look on social media, you look at the videos that they've been posting, it looks like whatever you think of when you think of apocalypse, or please, whatever you think of when you think of apocalypse or hell, that's what Earth look like right now. And that's what we in the ISUPK been trying to teach you since 1969. Where your Christian pastors, because they have no understanding, they'll have you believe, or they've had Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans believe for so long that that hell is a place underground. And that when when the Most High and Christ and the angels come back, well, they think that Christ is the Most High. But when they say Christ come back with them angels, he gonna come and what they say, rapture. They gonna zap you up out of your clothes and bring you up into heaven. They teach you all these lies. Meanwhile, you are standing in the middle of literal hell, where all you see is smoke and ember and brimstone and fire. Like, you can't even see in front of you. Like, you don't know what the hell. I saw one video where this family, or this woman who went through this tunnel, and she crying, and she went through the tunnel, and on the other side of the tunnel, it was just nothing but just ember and fire, and you couldn't even see nothing but the glow of the fire. Like, it looked like, I'm sure it was hot over there. It didn't look safe to be there. You know what I mean? But your Christian, we don't recognize the prophecies of the Most High when we see them, because your Christian pastors has fed you lies. That's what we came to talk about tonight. We're gonna find out why, even though the world is burning right before your eyes, even these other nations are going to war, and we're getting ready for the world is getting prepared for World War III. Even though, you know what I mean, you see all these secrets being revealed of the thing that we've been saying since 1969. But you know what I mean, when the oppressor says that we respect it just a little bit more. But you see Vladimir Putin revealing that the Russian icons, the icons that ruled Europe, you know what I mean, in the 1600s were black. You know, you see all these different things happening, and we can't see that we're standing in hell, and that your oppressor is the devil, and that the Most High doesn't love everybody, and that this is the Most High judging the this earth for how cruel and evil they've been to the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know what I mean? All those things that we don't know are all for the same reason. It's for what we're eating. It's for what we're being fed. I mean, you've been being fed. We've been being fed lies for, you know what I mean, however old you are, for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. I mean, all your life you've been getting fed lies. And what have we been doing? Because we're powerless to change our condition, because we don't have our law. We don't have our culture. And because the Most High is against us, we're powerless to change our situation. We're powerless against an oppressor who wants to steal your culture and identity, who wants to rip your fathers and your mothers out of your household, who wants to put drugs in your community, who wants to mass incarcerate you and mass deport you from a land that belonged to you. We're powerless to do those things. You know what I mean? So what we got to do, we got to eat what they serve us. You got to eat what they teach us. And one of those things that we've been eating for too many years is Christianity. Right. And that's that's the reason why we're so blind. We're gonna talk about how important it is for you to, is how important it is what you eat. It's like, you got something you wanted to play? Now we looking at these things right here that this brother about to play. We looking at these things, and what we looking for? We still worried about you know what I mean? We still worried about making it the to $2 Tuesdays and Thirsty Thursdays. You know what I mean, we still trying to figure out what our sisters still trying to figure out what the man of the hour that they sleeping with is gonna get them for Valentine's Day. I mean, what they son is gonna get them for Valentine's Day. You know what I mean? It's like, you go ahead, we'll play. And Bob Kashaw, if you got anything, go ahead.
Still rage, fueled by Santa Ana winds that make firefighting even more challenging. Wayne Colson's BC-based company contracts helicopters to California firefighters. He says they may have to wait it out.
If we can't fly, then you just have to get people the heck out of the way, because there's nothing you're going to be able to stop that fire with.
Every available LAFD firefighter is on hand and will remain in place through this wind event. Additionally, firefighters continue
use.
So we're right back in the heat of the battle come later on this evening.
The cooperation, though, a counterpoint to political sparring. President-elect Donald Trump has attacked Newsom over the state's response and threatened.
Real quick, just if you look, like you saw that you know what I mean, that big old inferno that engulfed, you know what I mean, California. You see how terrifying that looked. You know what I mean? I know we all got social media. You know what I mean? So I'm sure everybody who watching class and listening online know exactly what we talking about. But you see this, and guess who had to step in and help our oppressor as their mecca of greed burns to the ground. Right. It was Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Where they, and I believe Commander General Yahana, he did a story about this about a year or two ago, where, you know what I mean, last time the California wildfire started to get a little crazy. I didn't get this crazy, but last time California started to burn up, what they do? They started to send, what they did was they decreased the budget of the firefighters and increased the budget of the police. And the reason why they was able to do that is because they were employing, or I say employed loosely, but they were having the inmates, you know what I mean, trained to be firefighters so that they can go and risk their lives in exchange for what? For no freedom. You know what I mean? Right after they get done risking their lives to save the mecca of greed and filth and LGBTQ and all the things, all the lies and all the destructive things that they make us eat, as their mecca of just evil burns to the ground, they send our people to go and risk our lives. And then they got to go right back under the cell. Right. And then when they come out, after doing these such heroic things, you know what I mean? After doing these heroic things, they got to go back under the jail. And if they ever do see the light of day ever again, you know what I mean? They're not going to be able to get a job as a firefighter, let alone anything else. Like, you could barely flip a burger, but you had to go and risk your life. You know what I mean? You had to go risk your lives for your oppressor who don't give a damn about you and your condition. Right. And that's a similar thing that happened, you know what I mean, this time, where you got the same nation of people that our oppressor is desperately trying to get deported. The Mexican fire department flew through in helicopters and was, you know what I mean, marching through the streets carrying their gear, you know what I mean, getting ready to go to work for a nation of people that are so damn ungrateful that right after they just saved your ass as it was literally on fire, your oppressor is going to aim to get them mass deported. Right. Now, it's probably not going to happen because, you know, Donald Trump, white people like free labor. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? We're going to see what happens. But what I do know is that your oppressor does hate you. Your oppressor hates you, and they hate our Mexican brothers and sisters to where, you know what I mean, you saw it the last couple years, last couple months, how they've been treating them cruelly, how they've been sending horses into the water that they swimming over with their sons and daughters on their back. They drowning in the river trying to get to a better place. And they sending horses with whips to whip them, you know what I mean, to whip them out of there. You know what I mean? It's a horror story what blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans got to go through in this country and trying to get over to this country, trying to fight back to get our land back. But this is the irony of how they treat you. Right. Salakia. Let me get just to bring it back full circle, all of these things. The reason why we stand right in hell, we standing in hell, and we see how cruel they are to the Hispanics, to the Native Americans. We see how cruel they are to black people. But we can still go and, you know what I mean, we still go and fight for them. We still fight in their wars. We still join their police force. We still vote in their political system. And we go put out their forests. We go put out their fires when their towns burn down, when their houses and when their cities, you know what I mean, burn down. The reason why we can't see how ridiculous and how absurd that is because of what Christianity has fed us. Bob Kashaf, if I could, let me get Genesis, the second chapter. We're gonna find out, because what we don't realize is, again, the reason why we believe the ridiculous things that we obviously know are untrue, like we talked about, I believe, last week, where you ask any Black, Hispanic, or Native American what Christmas is about and why, or if they celebrate Christmas and what it's about, they're going to be like, oh, I know it's about they're going to run it down. They're going to be like, oh, I know it's Saturnalia and it's a pagan holiday, and they're going to have a whole rundown for you. Do you ask them, well, why are you still celebrating it? And they're going to be like, oh, it's just for the family. Right. It's for the kids. Right. Oh, it's just for me. I know what it means to them, but for me, it's just a time to get together. Right. Same with Thanksgiving, same with, you know what I mean, any of these, you name a holiday. The reason why we do those things and we don't find it ridiculous, what we've been eating. We've been eating we've been eating the slime. We've been eating the sludge that your oppressor feeds us through Christianity. I mean, we know that the reason why, you know what I mean, I'll give you another example. With a Christian pastor, you know what I mean, they how many scandals, how many times does it have to be revealed that your Christian pastor is either stealing from you, or a flaming LGBTQ member, or a flaming pedophile, child abuse, the daughter, or a combination of, you know what I mean, all three? How many times you got to see that in the Christian church? And they do them just like the police department, just like how the police department will take the lives of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans and then get paid leave and then get sent across not even they. A lot of times they don't even leave the state. They just go to a different city in that state, or they just go next door to the neighboring county, the neighboring precinct, and do the same thing that they've always done to us. That's exactly what they do with your child abusing LGBTQ thieving, lying, slimy Christian pastors,
Right.
where they'll get caught up in finding out that they didn't abuse so many children. They didn't abuse so many children and so many women and so many men up in there. And you know what they do? They'll send them to another Christian church to be a pastor over yonder.
Right.
You know what I mean, the reason why those things can happen is because we've been eating. The reason why we believe in such slimy things and we regurgitate such slimy doctrine is because we've been eating slimy doctrine for the last couple centuries. Let me get you Salakia. Genesis 2 and verse 16.
God, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 16. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest eat freely.
So we already know this story. Where this is talking about Adam. Adam after the Most High created man, right? Because Adam was not the first. He was not the first or only man created on this earth. You know what I mean, he's just the first man that the Most High dealt with.
Right.
But he's talking about that story, and when he was dealing with Adam, after he brought him out of that low condition, that low state, he gave him dominion over the garden, and gave him dominion over the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it, meaning to take care of it, to maintain it. Right. Go ahead, read on, Baba Shah.
Verse 17.
So he's the Most High. This is the first thing right after Slacky, to cut you off. The first thing that the Most High did after bringing Adam out of this low state, out of the dust, is tell him what he can eat. Go ahead, Slacky.
But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
So Slacky, go ahead.
Thou shalt not eat of it.
So he's telling him, he said, you of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. So the first instruction that the Most High gives Adam after giving him dominion over the garden to dress it and to keep it was to tell him what he can and cannot eat. And let's find out what he's telling him to eat. Where was we at? Slacky, go ahead, read on.
Verse 17. For in the day that thou eatest thereof,
the day that thou eatest, the day you eat this thing that the Most High told you not to eat, go ahead.
Thou shalt surely die.
Thou shalt surely die. Now, you know what I mean? What happened after? As a matter of fact, we're gonna get to it. Salakia. Let's get what is it? Salakia, let me find it real quick. What is it? Ezekiel 31 and verse 3. We'll get there with you.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 31 and verse 3.
You can start at verse 2.
Verse 2.
See, what you got to understand about this Bible is there's a lot of slang in this Bible, but because we've been eating, we haven't, when we learn the Bible, we don't learn that it's about us. We don't learn that it's about a Hebrew speaking people. We don't hear that it's about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and they spoke exactly how you speak today.
Right.
We don't hear that. We hear that either every prophet, when you see the depiction of Christ, or when you see the depiction of the prophets, whether it's in images that they cover the face of and they whitewash, or it's a movie like the 10 Commandments, or what was the first one I remember, the Passion of the Christ.
Right. Good.
Well, they had Mel Gibson,
right?
Mel Gibson playing Christ.
Right.
You know what I mean? You look at the remake of the story of Noah that they just did. Well, not just did, a couple years ago. It was some white dude. You know what I mean? when they depict you in movies, or when they depict when they depict the prophets in the movies, rather, they're depicted as white people. You know what I mean?
It's like another movie that just popped up was the Prince of Egypt.
Oh, God.
You know what I'm saying? Salakia.
The which one you talking about, the DreamWorks one?
Right.
But that was I think he was black, right? In that one?
Oh,
He was
Salakia.
actually depicted as black.
Oh, I might be talking about the other one then. Salakia.
But that was actually, as far as depiction.
I got you.
I would have to rewatch it and see if everything was accurate in that joint. But you know what I mean? But in most movies and shows and things like that regarding the Lord's people,
Right,
are depictions of your oppressor. You know what I mean? But so because we've been eating that for years, when we see things like eat the fruit,
right,
or we see things like death, like or you shall surely die, or what's another one? When we see trees,
right,
you know what I mean? We see things like that. We think like our oppressor, because we've been digesting their doctrine, and we've been digesting their lingo and their way of saying things and their way of life. Then we start to speak like them, and we start to understand like them. But what you're going to find out is, once you understand this Bible like a black man, then you'll actually understand the Bible in its entirety, and you'll start to understand life.
right.
That's what this Bible is about. And that's why they changed the faces of the judges thereof. That's why they hid the truth of the Bible from you for so many years. That's why they were burning the eyes out of the slaves for reading the Bible. What we like, a common misconception is, you know what I mean, we think that our oppressor came to the coast of Africa and just start picking up random Africans. We think we Africans, so they think that we think that they just came over to the coast of Africa and start picking up random Africans, put them on a boat, beat their culture out of them, and then handed them a Bible. That's not the truth. Where they came over and Africans sold Negroes to your oppressor. And then they brought us over here in the 1600s, where they were already pillaging and robbing and you know what I mean, doing all sorts of things to the brothers and sisters I was already over here, the so-called Hispanics and Native Americans. What they already had, you know what I mean, they already start shipping us all over.
Right.
And then they started to give us their version of Christianity, a version of or not Slacky, their version of the Bible called Christianity, where they give you a softer version, a more palatable version of the Bible, to where you can read it and look at that white image of Christ and believe that white people are God. And you can read this version of the Bible and still believe in God, think he's a white man, and still be a good slave. Because if you read this Bible as is, then you would raise up. You know what I mean? We would raise up and revolt against our oppressor, because that's what's in this Bible. But Slack, you go ahead, read verse 2.
Khan, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 31 and verse 2.
So we know what the Christian church, the white version of the Bible says about these trees, the fruit from these trees. But let's see what the black version, the actual version that's in this Bible, what it's saying about trees and fruit. Slack, you go ahead.
Khan, son of man, speak unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and to his multitude, whom art thou like in thy greatness?
Mm-hmm. Who art thou? This is talking about so this is, first of all, it says, son of man, speak unto Pharaoh. He's telling them to speak to another man, a nation of people. And who art thou like in thy greatness? So he's about to compare him to, well, let's see what he compared him to. Slack, you go ahead, read on.
Verse 3. Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon.
The who?
The Assyrian.
The who?
The Assyrian.
What's the Assyrian? The Assyrian, that's a nation of people.
Right.
That's an empire. That's a family. So Assyrians are what?
The Assyrian was a cedar.
A cedar, what's a cedar? A tree.
Right.
So the trees that you see in the Garden of Eden, the trees that you see in Genesis, the 2nd chapter, that's not talking about a oak tree. That's not talking about an apple tree. That's talking about a family tree. You've seen it right here. A cedar in Lebanon. Go ahead.
With fair branches,
Uh-huh.
and with a shadowing shroud, and of an high statue,
Uh-huh.
and his top was among thick boughs.
So this Assyrian family was a big and great and mighty and prestigious family. Like, people looked at this family and the branches, the family, the members of this family was just a great family. I mean, great and mighty family that people looked up to. They had a high stature and they was big and glorious. Go ahead.
Verse 4. The waters made him great.
Uh-huh.
The deep set him up on Salakia. The deep set him up on high with her rivers running round about his plants, and sent out her little rivers unto all the trees of the field.
So this family was so great because it was surrounded by all sorts of great resources and they had all sorts of things and resources, and they were so great they made the people or the nations around them look great.
Right.
Let's go back to Genesis, the 2nd chapter. So let me see. So where was he at? Verse 17. Genesis 2 and verse 17. All right. So read verse 17 again, Baba Kasha.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 17. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it.
So the Most High is telling you, or the Most High is telling Adam, of every tree of the garden thou mayst freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. So what is this talking about? Of every tree of the garden. So you can eat from these other trees, these other families. You know what I mean? You can learn certain things from them. You can learn, you know what I mean? You can learn how to, you know what I mean, if one nation of people is good at agriculture, or they, you know what I mean, they got certain skill sets that they got certain, you know what I mean, you can learn those things from them.
Right.
But of the tree of the knowledge of good of evil, thou shalt not eat of it. For in that day thou shalt eat as thereof, thou shalt surely die. And let's get Deuteronomy 30 and 19. The Most High right here is giving Adam the family, or he's gonna be the head of the family that he's chosen. You know what I mean? But he's giving him instructions on how to move. Go ahead, read that.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death.
He has said before you what?
Life and death.
Life and death. Go ahead.
Blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that thou and thy seed may live.
So the Most High said, or Moses is saying that I've called before you this day, before heaven and earth, that I've set before you life and death. How did Moses set life and death in front of you? By giving these laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High gave to him. You know what I mean? That's how you get life and death. You know what I mean? And what does the rest of that say?
Verse 20. That thou mayest love the Lord thy God, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him, for he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them.
So this is the whole point. See, we were supposed to keep our culture. See, what your Christian pastor won't tell you as well is we had the law.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's how when Cain and Abel brought their offerings to the Most High, you know what I mean, brought their sacrifice to the Most High had respect unto Seth's, or it's like unto Abel's offering, but had no respect to Cain's offering because they were given the law of offering. You know what I mean? They were given that culture. They were given those customs already. They had those customs. That's why, you know what I mean, when you look at the story of Noah before the law of Moses was given, like, well, this is Deuteronomy, right? Before Deuteronomy, before the law was given, you know what I mean? That's how Noah, when it was time for him to load that ark up, he knew how to get 7 of every clean animal,
Right.
and 2 of every unclean,
Right.
because he was given the law of cleanness and what's clean and what's unclean. You know what I mean, that's why it's several examples, and especially in the in the Old Testament before the law of Moses was given, that indicates that we had our law, we had our culture before the actual giving, the writing of the law. You know what I mean? Before that, it was just an oral tradition passed down. But that's life and death, man.
Right.
That's how you get life and death, man. And the Most High, this is another thing too. Like it said in verse 19, he said, "I give you life and death. Therefore, choose life." So that free will that your Christian pastors like to make you think is, you know what I mean, that you ain't got no free will.
Right.
You got the freedom to choose. You can choose to be an LGBTQ member if you want to, but
Right.
you're not free from that judgment that the Most High is going to give you. But what does your Christian pastor teach you? They teach you, oh, God loves the sinner and hates the sin.
Good night.
You know what I mean? They teach you all this Christian dogma that you learn from your oppressor. And that's what's killing us. The fact that we don't have our culture. We don't know. A lot of times we'll know our behind from our elbow.
Right.
Especially when it comes to the culture of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. I mean, we so blind to who we are as a people, and we so blind to what's going on around us. I mean, you know, you got that Christian church to thank, because they just been feeding us. They've been feeding us just lies and destruction. Let's give Genesis 3:1 real quick. Now this is exactly what you see. This is exactly what you see right now in the earth today. Go ahead.
God, it's the book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
The serpent was more subtle. See, look, here's another one,
Right.
where we look at these words like serpent and beast. You know what I mean? And we think that this is the Jungle Book. You know what I mean? So lucky, what the hell? But we think that it's the Jungle Book. But this is just more slang.
Right.
Go ahead, read on.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made.
See, we know slang. Like, we don't have to, like, we make up new slang words almost daily, but we catch on. It don't take us long to catch on. Like, I done seen brothers and sisters do some amazing things with words where you
Right.
you could type out a whole acronym, and
Right.
then they'll be like, I bet black people can understand this.
Real talk.
And then in your mind, you reading the acronym, it's just a whole bunch of letters. It don't spell out no words, but you know exactly what's being said.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we understand slang and lingo real good. You know what I mean? I know you understand slang and lingo when you trying to get that pack off.
Real talk.
You know what I mean? When you in them streets and you trying to move subtly, you know what I mean? You know slang then. But when it comes to this Bible, we all of a sudden forget who we are and how we talk.
Right.
Again, it's because of the Christian church and what they've been feeding you. But we know that this serpent is just talking about an evil, it's an evil, sneaky, wicked person, a sneaky person. That's all serpent means. It's a snake. And we use that same slang to this day.
Right.
Where serpent, or we say, hey, watch out for that snake. You know what I mean? That's that boy, a snake over there. Or there's some snakes in the grass.
Right.
That's how we talk.
Right.
We still use the same slang that's in this Bible. We still use those things to this day. Let's like it. Go ahead, read on, Baba Shah.
God. Yea, hath God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
So you say, as God said, you're not supposed to eat of every tree of the garden. So
I misread. And he said unto the woman, yea, hath God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
So this serpent, this person is just sneaky and slick and subtle. You know what I mean? He asking, like, has the Most High said you can't eat of every tree of the garden? And guess who he went to? Guess who he went to? He said, and he has said unto the woman.
Right.
You know what I mean, this is exactly what a sneaky bastard is gonna do. Because that man he ain't even gonna entertain that garbage.
Right.
You're like, man, get up out of here. You know what I mean, what was that? General Muhammad showed this excellent video last week of, I believe it was General Muhammad, but about a child abuser, a child predator, and the type of person, or I think the interviewer asked the child abuser, what type of child do you look for in you know what I mean, your next victim? And the dude immediately was like, I look at the child, but I first look at the family.
Right.
I look at your family.
Right.
And make sure, you know what I mean, I look to see if there's any either household that's just a single parent household that where the woman is the primary parent, or I look at households where the family is split. You know what I mean? So if there's a newly divorced woman and the kids are back and forth between the households or whatnot, or you know what I mean, this woman is desperate for, you know what I mean, desperate for attention and love, because, you know what I mean, you just went through a divorce, and that's where I swoop in as I might sweep in as the new boyfriend. And that's what we see a lot of in the Christian churches.
Right.
That's what we see a lot of in our households, where your family gets divided, and then that new boyfriend slips in and try to play stepdaddy.
Right.
And your woman is just so happy to just have another man to be up under, and I have another masculine figure in that house, that she overlooking the fact that them children is being abused.
Right.
And then take it a step further, where the child will go to the mother and be like, this man touched me, this man abused me. And what do they say? Do they go to the police? Do they report it? Do they they don't even get your uncles and your cousins involved, and the father of the children involved.
Right.
Well, what do? They keep it quiet because they don't want to lose that man. That's the type of, you know what I mean? That's what you see in our communities, where a sneaky bastard will sneak into our households and hurt our children and poison our wives.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they do it without the male being there. That's why it's so important for you to have a father in your household. But again, that's all part of your oppressor's plan.
Right.
Because they want to, what is it? Is it Isaiah? It says, who will bind up a strong man? Come. But I mean, that's what the scripture says. It says, who will bind up a strong man unless he first who will bind up a strong man's house unless he bind up the strong man first, and then he'll spoil his goods.
Right.
I mean, that's exactly the type of person that you're seeing right here that you're dealing with. Let me find this one as well.
I got that for you too. It's Matthew 12. You want me to read it?
Come on, sure.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 29. Or else, how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house?
Mm-hmm. See, that's exactly the type of you know what I mean, type of slimy piece of garbage That's that's exactly the type of thing that the slimy piece of garbage looks for.
Right.
Where before he can't even bind bind up the house unless he spoils the strong man, or unless he binds up the strong man.
Right.
He can't even hope to destroy your family unless he gets the man out the way. Does it make sense now why brothers are getting mass incarcerated?
Right.
And their lives is being taken in the streets by the police. But they're still expected to join the police force and join the military and go and lose their life for this country that they never did nothing for them. Don't that make more sense? Why they're trying to effeminize our black men is because that's how you bind up a strong man.
Right.
You, good night. You put a dress on him.
Good night.
Don't it make sense? Why a black man can't, be wealthy in Hollywood unless he puts a dress on? Where almost every major black actor, minus a couple, have put on a dress or had to change their name to something that sounds effeminate. You know what I mean? That's the reason why. I don't know if y'all know, but Jamie Foxx's name ain't Jamie Foxx. His name is, I can't remember what his name is. Like, it's not Jamie Foxx though. But he said he changed his name is like Eric something, but he changed his name to Jamie Foxx because he had to make his name sound unisex so he could get more shows.
Damn.
Because they was looking for young, I believe, I can't remember if it was white actresses particularly, but they were looking for young women. So he had to make his name sound like a young woman, a young white woman. So no wonder though. They try to put dresses out. I think he was wearing a dress at one point too.
Yeah, kind.
You know what I mean? Kind. Like they slap a dress on him, and Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy and all these actors. They gotta put a dress on because that's how you bind a strong man up. You take his masculinity. You know what I mean? That's why when they brought us over here, they took if we had our culture, we had the spirit of the Lord, we would rise up against this nation when they try to put us in captivity. And we absolutely did. But what they did was take the strong men and violated them in front of their families. That's how you bind up a strong man.
Right.
They violated them and lynched them in front of their families. So now the rest of the strong men, they make an example of the biggest, strongest man on the plantation. So you looking like if they did that to big John Coffey, then what the hell? What the hell do you think they're gonna do to me?
Right.
So what do? We stay silent when they started to take our women and to violate them and then put them back in our households. And then we had to get up the next morning and work together. We had to spend the night together, in them slave quarters. After your wife then been violated, and then try to pretend that you able to protect her.
Right.
That's how you destroy a household. You bind the strong man up, and then you'll spoil his goods.
Right.
So what you seeing in Genesis, the 3rd chapter, this serpent is going to this woman and overlooking the man because he knows he's the most subtle beast of the field. Where are we at? It's like
3 and 2.
3 and 2. It's like you go ahead and read on Baba Kashai.
Verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden.
So she said, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. So she knew what it was. She knew exactly what the Most High said. You know why? Because she had a strong man. She had Adam.
Right.
Go ahead.
But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God had said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die.
He said we shouldn't, but the knowledge of good and evil. You know what the knowledge of good and evil is? The knowledge of good and evil is, we was never supposed to know what captivity was like.
Right.
We was supposed to never know what it's like to have a cruel, evil nation ruling over you.
Right.
We were supposed to never know what having your neighborhoods flooded with drugs and child abuse, and we was never supposed to know what famine and We wasn't supposed to know all of those things. We wasn't supposed to know what that's like. We were supposed to do what the Most High said and eat what He told us to eat.
Right.
We were supposed to digest the information that He gave us, these laws, this culture that He gave us, and live. But this is what happened. This is what happened to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, where our oppressor, the most subtle beast of the field. What's the precept for that? So like I'm sitting there looking for it.
For the beast.
God. Let me think. I think I got it somewhere. It just crossed my mind. Salaki. But you know what I mean? Your oppressor being the most subtle beast of the field. Salaki. Your oppressor being the most subtle beast of the field, you know what I mean? He fed you something else. He gave you something else to eat. You know what I mean? Where we were supposed to never know it is, just to give a literal example, just to help brothers and sisters understand the metaphor.
Right.
You know what I mean? We was never supposed to find out what it's like to, you know what I mean, die from hypertension and cardiac arrest and, you know what I mean, all these things and gout and high blood pressure and all these different things that we suffer from because of what we literally eat, because of the abominations that we eat. We were supposed to be eating, you know what I mean, clean animals that the Most High said is clean to eat.
Right.
But you know what happened? Your oppressor gave you something else to eat. And now we suffer all these curses. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. That's the problem right there, man. What we need to do is come back to this Bible and eat what we were given from the beginning.
Right.
And that's literally the whole point of the Bible, where every prophet came to the children of Israel, came to their cities, came to their cities and came to their nations. You know what I mean? And so like, I lost my train of thought. What did I say before? Salaki. Yeah, I know. Salaki. Hey, I was on the road. Salaki. But you know what I mean, because you know what I mean, our oppressor that came and gave us something different than what the Most High gave us. Then that's what the prophets was doing. That's what the prophets was doing. When they would come to your cities and come to where you was at, and they would tell you that the Most High is going to destroy this place.
Right.
And it's going to destroy you and it's going to judge this place if you don't come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. You know what I mean? This whole Bible is full of the Most High giving us, starting with Adam and Eve, where the Most High gave you a culture. He said, do this, don't do this, don't do this. And then we did the opposite of what he told us to do.
Right.
He told us to eat this, and we ate something else, and we got judged for it. And then we were, you know what I mean, we ended up in you know what I mean, being judged by the Most High. You know what I mean, going through what the Most High judged the earth with a flood, and then and burned down Sodom and Gomorrah, and I mean all these different things. We was in captivity under the Egyptians, and then the Most High heard us. The Most High heard our cries that this nation of people has been so cruel to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Right.
The nation of, you know what I mean, the nation of Israel, and the Most High destroyed the Egyptians and led the children of Israel out of captivity. Then what did we do in the wilderness? We started to miss our captivity. We started to serve the gods and build idols and things like that in the wilderness.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then the Lord had to judge us again. The Lord had to punish us again. You know what I mean? Where the Most High said to drive these nations out. But instead of driving them out of the land that the Most High promised us, we kept them around and we started to sleep with them and serve their gods and all of those things. So the Most High, you know what I mean, these nations began to rule over us. And then we crying out to the Most High. And then he sent the prophet. He sent the judge to get, you know what I mean, to help us get out of captivity. And then he got us back on our feet. But then after that judge passed, you know what I mean, we forgot the consequences of sleeping with these other nations and serving their God. So what do? We did the exact same thing again.
Right.
And it just happens over and over in the Bible. What we about to read is another prophet, you know what I mean, pleading to the, you know what I mean, to the people of Israel, prophesying to the people of Israel, prophesying that if we don't change, if we don't come back to our law, then we will continue to be destroyed, and prophesying how the Most High is going to judge our oppressor. You know what I mean? It's like you got that precept.
Oh, you want
the water?
Ezekiel 34.
Okay.
It's about the beast. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 34, verse 28. And they shall no more be a prey to the heathen.
They shall no longer be a prey to the heathen. Heathen is other nations. Go ahead.
Neither shall the beasts of the land devour them.
Neither shall what?
Shall the beast of the land devour them.
Neither shall the beast of the land devour them. This is talking about the nations that devour Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Right.
And that's all we crying for. When you march in the streets and say Black Lives Matter, no justice, no peace, defund the police, but they not only do they increase, not only do they not defund the police, but they increase the budget of the police force, whether there's crime or there's no crime. But then they also, you know what I mean, they decrease the budget of the fire department and then put your black behind in them burning down towns and cities and woody areas,
right,
and make you know what I mean, make you do slave labor. That's what they do. But when you say no justice, no peace, you're crying out for these beasts to stop devouring you. You're crying out for these heathens to stop devouring you. When you say Black Lives Matter, all you're saying is just stop devouring us. I mean, we don't need your we done gave up on reparations. Well, majority of us, you know, it's a little portion of us that's still, you know what I mean, hoping and praying, and we've got our fingers crossed.
Right.
But for the most part, we done gave up on reparations. We just like, look, if you just leave us alone, like we knew, like they know, like it says in Exodus, the first chapter, if they left us alone, we would be mighty. And that's what we know. If we just look, y'all ain't got to give us reparations. We don't need a 30 acre and a mule. Just leave us the hell alone.
Right.
Stop devouring us.
Right.
When you protest and when you see when you watch Juneteenth, it's about to be it's about to be some blackity black. It's about to be all sorts of fists in the air and berets and kente cloth. It's everybody gonna find something. I don't even know where to get kente cloth, but they gonna find it come
right.
Juneteenth.
Right.
I mean, when you do those things, and when you that's been a lot of especially these younger generation, you know what I mean, where they go into it was another video of a sister, I believe it was a sister, I can't remember specifically, but this young woman, she was talking to the you know what I mean, the school board, and it was like, I don't think that it's fair that, you know what I mean, that the school is so focused on the LGBTQ community, where we gotta I think she plays sports, and she was like, you know what I mean, we got one LGBTQ member on the team, and the whole, you know what I mean, dynamic of the like, we gotta share a locker room with this brother, or you know what I mean, this dude in some volleyball shorts. And you know what I mean, it's making us uncomfortable, but we gotta ignore it and accommodate for this dude in the dress, because for the sake of not making him uncomfortable.
Right.
Just like you gotta call a man a woman and a woman a man if they want to be called such, because it makes them uncomfortable to be what they were born as. You know what I mean? That's them devouring you. Slack, you was about to say something?
No, Slack, you got that.
But that's them devouring you. That's how you devour a nation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what's happening here. So what we just read in the book of Ezekiel, you know what I mean? That's the prophet giving you the answer to your prayers. He like, if only you would just come back and belong to the Lord again and follow his laws, statutes, and commandments that he gave you from the beginning in the garden with Adam and Eve.
Right.
You know what I mean, if you just come back to the culture that you always had and eat what the Most High told you to eat, then your oppressor can stop devouring you. You won't be devoured by your oppressor. It wasn't no more than, or you had a precept?
Just another precept proving about the beast. This is Jeremiah 50:17. Israel is a scattered sheep.
No, Israel are men and women.
Israel is a scattered sheep.
Scattered what?
A scattered sheep.
Sheep is a beast, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
But Israel is a sheep. Now, okay, now if you read this from the eyes of an oppressor, like we've been doing, you know what I mean? That's gonna confuse you.
Right.
Israel's a sheep. What? What you talking about? So you saying? Oh my God, I can't even. You know what I mean? When you say he a snake, oh, what that mean? That mean he a rat,
Right.
huh?
Right.
So how can he be a snake and a rat?
Right.
Like, oh, Captain Cottons, I use this example all the time, and it blow my mind every time I hear it. Like I can hardly believe it. Where he was like, while he was in college, he was, you know what I mean, he had a Caucasian roommate, and he was like, oh girl, she hot. You're like, hot? What that mean?
Right.
I just mean she cold.
Right.
Cold? What you? How could she be hot and cold at the same time?
Right.
But the brother that he was, you know what I mean, it was a brother in there as well. He understood. Even though he said two opposing things, he understood that those two opposing things meant the exact same thing.
Real
But
talk.
if you read the Bible using the knowledge that you digested from your oppressor, you're gonna be just as confused as them. That's why when they popularized LGBTQ, guess who's defending them? Our black women.
Right.
And because women are oppressors and children rule over them, guess what? The brothers get right behind them. They get right behind the women defending the lifestyle that your oppressor wants to live. And guess what else? We get the children involved as well.
Right.
Because the children don't know no better. You know what I mean? If they could, they would eat ice cream day and night. You know what I mean? They would, you know what I mean? They eat McDonald's every day. I try to feed my kids. You know what I mean? You know, I could cook. I could throw down. And I try to feed my kids the best.
Right.
The best. You know what I mean? The things that I eat. You know what I mean? Lamb and salmon and, you know what I mean, steak and filet mignon. I try to feed them that. But they don't want that. They want they want, you know what I mean? They want McDonald's.
Right.
They want the McDonald's chicken nuggets that don't even taste right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you leave it to children, they want trash a lot of times. They want something that's gonna hurt them. But because we are looking at the world through the lens of what our oppressor gave us, then not only do we support our women when they want to support the LGBTQ community, but we get our children involved.
Right.
And guess what? Guess who attacks? Guess what happens right after that? After our women stand with and be the number one advocate for the LGBTQ community and be egging them on, when they finally get what's it called? Pride Month. Or when they get when they get acknowledged and when they get put over your woman, or they call their women, the LGBTQ community, when they make that transition, they want to be, that man wants to be called a woman.
Right.
He wants to be called a woman. I am a woman. It's ma'am. Remember that? But what they call us, a woman can't be called a woman. Authentic, you know what I mean, breathing, authentic breathing woman born as a woman can't be called a woman. She got to be called a cisgendered person.
Good night.
You know what I mean? It comes from your oppressor. It's
Right.
like you. That's how they devour us. Where was it? Oh, you had some more on that?
Yeah, just a little bit more on that. Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away.
The lions have driven him away. So we talking about more animals now. So I guess this is the Jungle Book and
Right.
Animal Planet. We talking about Mufasa.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
First, the king of Assyria had
Oh.
devoured him.
The who?
The king of Assyria
Hey, there go a nation. There go another nation. Go ahead.
have devoured him.
Had devoured him. Who was him? Israel. Go ahead.
And last, this Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon, hath broken his bones.
Hey, so Nebuchadrezzar, the water. But Nebuchadrezzar, you know what I mean? That's the name of a king. That's a Babylonian king, right?
Kind.
That's the name of a Babylonian king. You know what I mean? But he was referred to, these two, the Assyrian and the Babylonians, they were referred to as lions, and Israel was referred to as sheep.
Right.
But, and this is in the Bible, you know, this ain't just me making up slang. This is slang being used in the Bible.
Right.
So when you read Genesis, the 3rd chapter, Genesis, the 2nd chapter, when it talks about these families and the fruit and the trees and the beasts of the subtile beasts of the field and the serpent, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? you know that's what that's talking. You know that's talking about, you know what I mean, what you think that means.
Right.
It's not talking about what your oppressor think that means. It's talking about what you mean when you say snake,
Right.
or when you say serpent. That's what it's talking about. It's like, yeah, you still got the Genesis 3?
Okay.
Let's see.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 3. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God had said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die.
So she knew exactly what the Most High had commanded, because Adam had taught her. But what did the serpent say?
And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die.
That was the first thing he said. He went and told her a lie. And that's what you got to understand, sisters. Like, this is what you got to understand, like, how susceptible our sisters are to lies.
Right.
That's why everything you got to clear through your husband. Everything that you hear from, especially from your oppressor, but people in the world, you know what I mean? Everything that you hear from people in the world, your oppressor, you know what I mean, that Christian church, everything that you see on TV, run it by your husband.
Right.
Run it by your husband. You know what I mean? You see something on TV, ask your husband, pause and be like, it's like, what you think about this? You know what I mean? Run it down. And then, because a lot of times what you don't understand is, like, watching all that TV, it'll you know what I mean, you watching all that TV and social media,
right?
You know what I mean, it'll skew your understanding of, you know what I mean, the real world,
right?
Where you seeing that's why you see all these sisters walking around butt booty naked with the little bitty shorts, and all they want is drama,
right?
All they want to do is fight one another. That's why it's the battle of the sexes. In your mind, our sisters hate men and the men hate the women, but that's not true.
Right.
We love each other. You know what I mean? We can't stop having children. We can't stop, you know what I mean, accomplishing things together and coming together and preferring one another. But the problem is, what's propagated to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans through TV and media and all those things is interracial marriage. LGBTQ is you know what I mean, black men want to oppress your woman. You better get down with the swirl.
Right.
That's what's propagated to you. Or the Pop the Balloon challenge, where that whole challenge is just about black men and women just dogging one another.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what you see. That's what you know what I mean? That's what propagated to you. So in our minds, we hate one another. So now you just a regular Joe off the street, or you just a regular sister off the street. You know what I mean? That don't you a kind, nice brother or sister, but you know what? We afraid to deal with one another. We already, once we see each other in the street, or once we see each other at the job, you know what I mean, we already looking at each other some type of way. We ready to argue. We ready to fight with one another, because in your mind, this brother hates you. This sister hates you. So now, I said all that to say, you know what I mean, make sure you know what I mean, run everything by your man, because we easily susceptible to, you know what I mean, to becoming monsters based on what our oppressor wants to feed us.
Right.
So and it's gonna start with the sisters. That's what they always gonna do. They're gonna start with the sisters. They're gonna empower you. They're gonna empower you with you know what I mean, the what's it called? It started with the welfare and the Section 8. You know what I mean? Where they put us all in hell. They put us all in captivity and got us fighting over resources, and then they go to the woman and they be like, hey, look, we could get you a 4-5 bedroom house. You're gonna be paying $50 a month.
Right.
But just get that man up out of there. That man ain't no good for you. You know what I mean? What they do in that Christian church, the first thing they want to do damn near, I don't know if it's in the Christian handbook, but the first thing that they do when you get in that Christian church is try to separate the woman from the man.
Right.
You know, they try to separate that family, where that man try to, I mean, lead his household like he's supposed to, like the Most High commanded Adam in the first in the second chapter of Genesis. And you know what I mean, that Christian pastor who's supposed to be teaching you according to the word of God, he's gonna be like, woman, thou art loose. Y'all are unequally yoked.
Right.
And this brother ain't got the spirit. He you know what I mean, he ain't no good for you. But that comes from your oppressor. It's like you.
Right.
It's like, where we at? Verse 5.
Yeah, verse 5. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 5.
This is the one right here. This is what you gotta, it's like, I'll let you go ahead.
For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
So gonna be as gods. See them, you ain't gotta believe it. God, man, you are God. Black woman is God.
Right.
See, they don't want you to know that because they don't want you to tap into your power, queen.
Right.
They don't want you to tap into your power. You so much better than you. So you ain't supposed to be up under no man. You ain't supposed to be run. What he said? Run everything by your husband for what?
Right.
You hold the power, queen. You hold the power of life and death. You know what I mean? That you create life, queen. Ain't that what they tell you?
Good night.
That comes from right here in the Bible. Where, you know what I mean? So now what we got? We got a whole bunch of horoscoping, sage burning, zodiac sign reading, astrology, tech, you know what I mean? Tarot card flipping sisters with the dreadlock bun to the sky, you know what I mean? And the shells and the chakras and all of that. You know what I mean? And the man, you know what I mean? Even though none of those things it means anything for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. None of that has ever helped the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Those are toys. You know what I mean? Those stones, those chakras, and those rocks, and those are rocks. You know what I mean? Those charms, those necklaces, those are toys. Those are decorations.
Right.
I mean, they don't do nothing for you, Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. Yet, when we see a man or a woman with all them charms on, and with all them you know what I mean, with all them charms and with the dreadlocks and the what they call it, they got the stone wrapped around with copper on a string around their neck. When you see that, you know what I mean, you think that is the highest form of wisdom.
Right.
It's because what your oppressor fed you about it. This is what your oppressor fed you about all them chakras and woman being God and all of that. A man call you queen. The man call you queen. You know what I mean, back in the day, that was an automatic. The draw was off.
Right.
Like it was
right.
You know what I mean. But that's just how susceptible we have been as a people to lies, and they start with the woman. It's right here. We just read it. What else? And then what happened after that?
Verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food.
So all the serpent had to do is say, man, he don't know what you're talking about. Are you this? They don't want you to know this because it's gonna tap you into your inner God, queen.
Right.
She was like, bet. This is good. The thing that the Most High said was bad. It was evil. It would cause you to die. Would cause you to, you know what I mean, go up under these curses. Was the same thing that this sister said was a good thing, all because a liar fed her a lie.
Right.
Slacky, go ahead.
If I could.
Please.
Also, too, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with that, it's saying she saw that the tree was good for food, that food for thought. You know what I'm saying? Like that should let our sisters know, man, you got to be careful about even controlling your thoughts and the things you're thinking. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's against your husband or your children, or just entertaining certain things in your mind, because you're gonna read about what happened when you entertain all these different foods for thought. You know what I'm saying? So like you.
Right. Like the scriptures say, the reading of many books is to no end.
Right.
And makes weary, you know what I mean, makes weary the flesh.
Right.
I mean, you reading all these, you digesting all this food for thought. And you know what I mean? It's making us weary. It's made us dumb. All these books made us dumb.
Right.
You know what I mean? When the Most High gave us this Bible,
right,
this is the blueprint, and this is universal and practical knowledge.
Right.
You read this Bible, you're gonna understand all things. But we put down the Bible, and we, that, like the priest just said, we digesting all this food for thought, and we wonder why we sick and tired of being sick and tired, and we weary, and we, you know what I mean? We prayed up though, we saged up.
Right.
Good night. we the whole house smelled like chicken.
Right.
You know what I mean? You've been trying to get them demons out of your house for 20 years. You know what I mean, your house is still a damn wreck. Your family is still a wreck. I mean, you still can't keep a man in that house that you saging. You know what I mean? So like you, where are we at?
I continue.
Please, yeah.
In the middle of verse 3, and it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise. And she took the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband.
So the like it
with her, and he did eat.
So not only did she eat, See, notice that the serpent ain't deal with the husband.
Right.
The serpent ain't even here no more. The serpent, you know what I mean? She eating from this fruit. You know what I mean? She eating from this. She did this food for thought, and she brought these ideas to her husband. You know what I mean? She brought the chakras and the, you know what I mean, the horoscopes and all of that to her husband, and the husband was like, "Word, let me get some of that. Let me get these chakras. Let me get this dasiki on."
Right.
I mean, you said, we gotta lock our hair because them antennas.
Good night.
You heard that one before?
Damn.
Yeah, you gotta lock your hair because them antennas that'll get you connected to the earth.
Damn.
I mean, forget that God who, you know what I mean, Most High who died, man. No, that's how we gonna be gods. We gonna be gods. We just gotta lock our hair. You know what I mean, we gotta twist them up and put this. Look, I found this copper. You get this rock right here. This rock, you know what I mean? All you gotta do is just wrap this copper, this tinfoil around this rock, and it's gonna make you like gods.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what we did. And the man was like, word. And we went right along with it. Let's drop down to 13.
Verse 13. And the Lord God said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me and did eat.
And that's exactly what we do. Because the serpent, at first the serpent was like, everything that he said sounded so sweet. Like it says in I believe it was Proverbs, or the words of his mouth were smooth as butter.
Psalms.
The words in Psalms, it says the words of his mouth was smooth as butter, but they were drawn swords.
Right.
But war was in his heart.
Right.
You know what I mean? So at first it all sounded all good and fine and dandy, and you know what I mean, it made her feel good to hear that she was a god.
Right.
She was a queen, and you know what I mean, she creates life. You know what I mean, God don't create life. She don't need no man to create life. She got the Bartholin gland. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. You heard of that one? The Bartholin gland. Man, the sister said that, you know what I mean, a sister don't need a man to create life.
Oh, good.
Because they got the Bartholin gland, which, you know what I mean, they could. I don't even look. That sound like, brother. Look. Good night. But it's crazy. Like, this sound good to hear all of that.
Right.
But now she's saying, now she's saying the serpent beguiled me and I did eat. Go ahead.
If I could too. That also shows, you know what I'm saying, the accountability of our sisters, man. You know what I'm saying? She ain't say, yeah, it sounded good. So, you know what, Salaki, I messed up. Yeah, well, he tricked me into doing that. You know what I'm saying? Salaki.
Yeah, and that's the whole point right there. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you said that. Salaki. Verse 12 real quick. This also go to our men too. Because again, the Most High gave us structure.
Right.
He gave us something to eat. He gave us food for thought. He said, here, and this gonna make you now, this food for thought that the Most High gave Adam put him at the top of the of society.
Right.
Where he was, you know what I mean, everybody had to come to him for wisdom and knowledge and resources and all of that, because he was the head and he was using the wisdom that the Most High gave him. But we get curious. We get curious and try to, you know what I mean, we want to see what these other nations think or what they do and how they moving, what serving they God is like.
Right.
What's it like to be Buddhist? What's it like to be Hindu? And I mean, what's Allah like? I mean, what's what's his name? What's it like being a Muslim? You know what I mean? But once we get jammed up, then we saying, oh my Buddha.
Right.
We saying,
good night.
Oh my God.
Right.
We say, Jesus Christ.
Right.
We say, oh goddamn. You know what I mean? We call it on the Most High. We remember who we are once we in the jam. That's what reverse, what was it? 12?
Oh yeah, I jumped to verse 9 just to give you the context. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 9. And the Lord God called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself.
See, that nakedness is shame.
Right.
See, now you didn't listen to your woman, and this woman that listened to this snake and told you some stupid stuff, some nonsense, and now you embarrassed. Now you ashamed because you know what's right and you know what's wrong because the Most High gave it to you. And you ain't do nothing. It wasn't nothing that it wasn't like Adam was just the most amazing person in the world.
Right.
He raised him out the dust. He was in the dust.
Right.
He was in a low condition.
Right.
He was a lowly man. Slacky, go ahead.
Verse 11, and he said, who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat?
The Most High, like, did you do what I just told you not to do? Go ahead.
Verse 12, and the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
He said, the woman who thou gavest to me.
Right.
He said, this woman, your woman, man.
Right.
This woman you gave me, man.
Right.
She done got me all jammed up. Man, look, that's what we do too.
Right.
Like when we follow after our women, it's all fun and games when it's Christmas. You know what I mean? It's all fun and games when it's Christmas time and it's time to spend all the money on the Christmas gifts because it's like you just got to believe in the holiday spirit. You got to get that tree. You got to get Christmas gifts. You got to get that PS5 for that little bad little boy that don't listen to nothing you say. You got to buy that brand new car for that little girl that's, you know what I mean, that fast little girl that you done raised.
Right.
Because you done raised her according to the food for thought that you done got from your oppressor. You know what I mean? So your family just terrible, but you spending everything that you spending the whole savings on you know what I mean, Christmas.
Right.
And then January 1st come around and the lights get cut off. Or January light bill come around from all them decking the halls you was decking.
Right.
That January light bill come and it's through the roof and now you jammed up. Now what you gonna do, black man? You gonna be like, man, see, this is because of that Christmas. You know what I mean? That big I told you not to get that big old tree. I told you not to. No, but you went and got it. You went and followed after your woman anyway.
Right.
But that's exactly what you see right here.
Right.
You know what I mean? We'll follow after our woman, and then when the consequences of the poor decisions that you made because you was following after your woman come around, now you want to blame your woman.
Right.
No, you are the ultimate decision. You are the decision maker of the household. Now, of course, you can consult with your woman and be like, "What you think about this?" You know what I mean? What you think about this? If she might have some a certain expertise in something, or you know what I mean, she might be better with the money with you than you, or she might be, you know what I mean, whatever the case is, you could consult her on certain things. You could talk to her. You don't want to be a tyrant in your household.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the final decision is yours. And like what you'll realize is the consequences is yours too. Like when them consequences come, you know what I mean, when that light get cut off because you celebrated all that Christmas and you ain't got no money left in the bank, the woman gonna be looking at you like, go work overtime, go get you go get you a pack and you know what I mean, flip it real quick.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or go, you know what I mean, you gotta go do something. You know what I mean? You gotta go shovel snow or something. She gonna be looking at you to fix it. Right. When the solution was what the Most High gave us in the first place. Slakia. Go ahead. Where we at?
Kind of verse 13.
We could drop down to 14.
Verse 14. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle.
So this is we're gonna drop down to 16, but this is talking about the Most High cursing the, you know what I mean, or actually, damn, Salakia. We might need to get that. Where was that? 14?
14, Khan.
Let's get that.
Khan, and the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field.
And every beast of the field. So you are cursed above every beast of the field. I mean, so you look at all these other nations, but your oppressor, I mean, is the lowest of all the beasts of the field. Go ahead.
Upon thy belly thou shalt go.
So you're going to be upon thy belly thou shalt go. Go ahead.
And dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
And what?
And dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
This is talking about your oppressor, meaning the way that he's going to eat is going to be by being a low down bastard.
Right.
All the days of his life. He's going to be on his belly, low in the dust. You know what I mean? Everything that he does, you know what I mean? Look at how America was gotten. They had to do some low down, dirty things to even to come over to America and see the children of Israel and say they're a peaceable people. Let's make them slaves.
Good
That's
man.
how your oppressors gonna eat.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where they gonna see the Native Americans and see how kind they are, and then they're gonna sign a treaty with them and be like, all right, we're gonna stay over here, you stay over there. You know what I mean? We're gonna be cool. And then they come and give them some blankets with smallpox and then kill most of them. Or they in the middle of the night, you know what I mean? In their homes, they burning down their homes, and when they run out while the homes is burning down, they shoot them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or they bash them over the head with a stick or with a rock. You know what I mean? And kill the women and the children. That's how they gonna acquire the East Coast and the rest of the United States. By pushing you further west toward the Trail of Tears. Then sign a treaty with you and be like, dang, I'm sorry that happened.
Right.
You know, we shouldn't have dealt with you like that. You know, let's make a new treaty. Let's put all of this behind us. And then you sign another treaty, and then they do the exact same thing to you. You know what I mean? That's how they're gonna eat. And that's why, what do? When we get low, when we get in a position where our backs are against the wall, or we need to, we put some food in our daughters and our sons' mouths, we need to keep the lights on. What do? We get right in the mud.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where we go, we feel like we got to sell drugs to, you know what I mean? We got to sell drugs to our own people. And our excuse is, well, I got mouths to feed. I got a child to feed. You know what I mean? That's our excuse, because we started to eat what our oppressor fed us, and we become just like our oppressor. Nope. No wonder, you know what I mean, where you hate your father for so many years for being in and out of jail and being a drug dealer or being a drug addict. And then what do? You get older, right? You get older and you become a drug dealer. And guess who you selling them drugs to? You selling them drugs to your father.
Right.
Directly to your father. You hated him for being a drug addict. And then you get older and you become the drug dealer and make sure he stays an addict. You make sure you never get to see your father sober again until he loses his life on the drugs that you supply. That's because your oppressor is a low bastard. He's a low down, dirty bastard, and that's how he's going to eat all the days of his life. And we've learned from him. It's like you. Go ahead.
God.
You dropped down to 16.
Verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception.
So what did the Most High said, if you do this thing I told you not to do, I'm giving you what to eat. The Most High said, eat this, digest this, take this food for thought, take this information. But if you take this other information, then you will surely die. Now, they took the information and ran with it. You know what I mean? And they didn't drop dead. They didn't immediately drop dead after that. But what happened, this is the death. These are curses. Go ahead.
God. I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow shalt thou bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Verse 17. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake.
Cursed? What did I say?
Cursed is the ground for thy sake.
So this is the death that we was talking about in the previous verses. When the Most High said, I shall surely die. He's talking about this.
Right.
The curses that we're going to experience.
Right.
How hard, how difficult that life is going to be. How we got to get it out the mud, and we just like, you know what I mean? We under this oppressor. Your oppressor's going to rule over you.
Right.
And how, you know what I mean? All the curses that we read about right now. Go ahead.
In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat of the herb of the field.
It's talking about how hard it's going to be for you, Black man, Hispanic man, and Native American man, because we don't listen. And this is what happens when we, you know what I mean? This is what happens when we listen to our oppressor. Now, what you see in a Christian church, all they teach you is to listen to your oppressor. That's all you learn. That's all they're feeding you in there. You go in there, what they say in a Christian church. What they say, I'm about to you go to a Christian church and that Christian pastor, they teach you, they feed you all these lies, and what they in there, the sisters and the brothers in there, they say, yeah, pastor, yeah,
Right.
but then they see they hear what we saying on the street corners or in class, and what they say, they say, oh, that ain't feeding my spirit,
Right.
that ain't feeding my spirit, that ain't the lies that we. As a matter of fact, let's get real quick. Let me get Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 1. Real quick. Because this is what you gotta understand about the truth, right? Let me see. Let me see if this is the one. Or actually, before we get that, or let me see, Slack. Let me make sure. Ezekiel. Three and 1.
If I could, while you're getting that,
Please.
read verse 19. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust thou shalt return. Now, I just wanted to bring that out, like as far as the curses, man, like we're gonna have to work hard just to get the money. You know what I'm saying? It just because he had it all there. You know what I'm saying, in the garden. So like
not the water. I'm glad you went there. You know what I mean? Like we wasn't, the Most High brought us out of the dust,
right,
and made Adam, you know what I mean, the top dog in the Garden of in the Garden of Eden.
Right.
You like, look, you going back to the dust.
Good night.
I mean, since you ain't like it when, you know what I mean, I put you on, made you the top dog. You wasn't grateful. You going right back to that dust that I found you in. You going right back to that slimy condition that I found you in. Because we forget. Like once we come up a little bit, you know what I mean, we think that we the man. When we've been praying, we pray, you know what I mean, we pray and we, you know what I mean, cry out to the Most High, you know what I mean, about our condition. And then the Most High, you know what I mean, pull you out of that condition, and we forget. We forget all about, you know what I mean, how we was just on the floor on our knees, just crying and just frustrated at the condition that we in. So most times, like, all right, no sweat. Since you got amnesia, you know what I mean, you going right back to the dust.
Right.
That's how it could be. You know what I mean? That's how it could be for you. Real quick, before we go there, let me get Revelations 10 and 9. And this is going to explain why when you go in that Christian church, all them lies, like Captain Kai said, the truth is bitter, the lies are sweet.
Right.
So you go in that Christian church and you hear all them lies, them blatant lies. And a lot of time they just singing and dancing in there. The reason why that feeds your spirit, like the Christians say, but the truth that we giving you in here, that don't serve me. That don't feed my spirit. It's because of this.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 10 and verse 9. And I went into the angel and said unto him, give me the little book.
Give me the little book. This angel is trying to, he giving them this book. This little book is this Bible, these law, statutes, and commandments, our culture. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
And he said unto me, take it and eat it up.
Well, no, wait, hold on. I thought we was talking about a book. What did he say to do with the book?
Take it and eat it up.
He said, take it and eat it up. Eat this book. Go ahead.
And it shall make thy belly bitter.
And it shall make thy belly bitter. Go ahead.
But it shall be in thy mouth as sweet as honey.
So it sound good. It's going to be in your mouth as sweet as honey. It's going to sound good to be like, oh, the Lord loves me. The Lord loves the Israelites. The Lord is going to deliver us out of this captivity like he did the Israelites in the book of Exodus.
Right.
You know what I mean? The Most High is going to deliver us out of this captivity. The Lord loves us. But it's going to be bitter. It's going to be bitter in your belly. You know what I mean? Because you hear this news, you know what I mean, brothers come up in here and become priests. They become, you know what I mean, they get the wisdom and the understanding to, you know what I mean, to be able to teach. And what do? You get on that podium. As soon as you come in here and get in all black, you get in that podium, you tell your family, I'm not eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster no more. I'm an Israelite. That I'm not celebrating Christmas. That's a pagan holiday. And you actually stand on it. Right. Everybody love the information.
Right.
Everybody love to be like, oh yeah, they oppressing us, and you know what I mean, they give us these fake these pagan holidays, and behind a blunt. It's fun to do that, but like to have a blunt you know what I mean, in your mouth and the next one behind your ear. It's fun to talk all this woke blackety black stuff, you know what I mean, in the ciphers. But once you stand on what you say and what your whole family believe, and you don't have a blunt behind you, you don't have a blunt to pass around, and you don't, you know what I mean, you don't celebrate Christmas, then your family's gonna hate you. It's gonna be bitter in your belly.
Right.
But that's why when your Christian pastors come up in here, or the evangelist sisters, or them sisters that be in the church, you know what I mean, they see all these churches on this corner, and then they see this, they see that green, that glorious green and gold. They see the podium through the window, and they like, oh, let's see what they got going on in there. Then they come up in here and they hear the type of the things that's actually in this Bible, because we read in the Bible. It's
Right.
on the screen for you to read it as well, too.
Right.
But we read in the Bible, and they can't sit up in here. They sit up in here. You could just see that, like, if you
Right.
like, you know, sometimes I just look at, like, I just see it, and I just see that, like, they just you just they just scrunch up their face. They just like,
Right.
you just see it, like, it's bitter. It's bitter in your belly. You got to reject it, because even though you don't believe in Christmas, you don't believe in Thanksgiving, you don't believe in the 4th of July, you got to do it anyway, because to not do it is bitter. It's going to hurt you, and it's not going to feel good. It's not going to taste good. You know what I mean? So like it. Let me see. I think that's it on that.
On that Ezekiel.
Yeah, Baba Kashai.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3 and verse 1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go and speak unto the house of Israel.
Go and speak into the house of Israel. It's like it. Let's get verse 2, or it's like a chapter 2 and verse 8.
Chapter 2, verse 8. But thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not rebellious like that rebellious house.
So this is talking about the house of Israel. This is talking about the people that the Most High chose, but is rebellious consistently over and over, all through the scriptures. I mean, he's saying, don't be rebellious like them, man. Go ahead.
Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee.
And do what?
Eat that I give thee.
Eat with the Most High. See, the reason why the children of the Most High God, the children of Israel, are rebellious is because instead of eating what the Most High gave them, they want to eat what the oppressor gave them.
Right.
And they want to, that's all they want to eat, because that serves them, that serves their spirit. You know what I mean? That's feeding them. That's what they think is feeding them. Not even realizing that that's what's destroying you. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And when I looked, behold, an hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein.
There goes another book. Go ahead.
And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without. And there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe.
Lamentations, see, no. Holly jolly and good tidings and cheer. What did that say?
It was written lamentations, it's like mourning and woe.
See, that's the problem with the Christian church. See, they want to be soothed. They want to hear sweet words. Prophesy to me sweet things. Prophesy lies and deceits.
Right.
That's what our people want. That's why when you go, that Christian church is full. And that's what feeds their spirit, because it's a lie and it sounds good. It sounds good. It's more comfortable than the lamentation. Lamentation means to cry.
Right.
You know what I mean? And mourning and woe. Woe is destruction. You know what I mean? And that's what's in this Bible.
Right.
There's a lot of crying and mourning and destruction coming to this place. And it's a lot of mourning and destruction in our neighborhoods. A lot of woeing, mourning, and lamentation and crying in our households. You know what I mean? In them prisons, in them ice cages on the border. You know what I mean? In the you know what I mean? And where you name it, wherever Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are, and this hell called Babylon, the great whore. You know what I mean? There's a lot of lamentation and mourning and woe. And that's because we don't follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. There's a lot of woe in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, starting at the 15th verse. That's
right.
Woe.
Right.
It's just woe and destruction and lamentation and mourning. But like it says in Deuteronomy 30 and 19. I have set before you life and death, blessings and cursing. Therefore, choose life. He gave you the options. He told you what was there, and he told you what to choose. He told you what to eat. Go ahead. Is it any where we at? Verse chapter 3, verse 3 or word Salaki.
Chapter 3, verse 1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Eat this roll.
Eat what?
Eat this roll.
Now remember, this roll is a book, but he said, eat this roll. Go ahead.
And go and speak into the house of Israel.
So after you eat this roll, after you take this information that's in this book, go to the children of Israel. Go to the children of Israel and go speak to them. Tell them what's in this book. Tell them that it's not all fun and games in this book. Tell them the destruction that's coming to America.
Right.
Tell them that the reason why we in this condition is because we turned away from the Most High God.
Right.
Tell them those things, man. Tell them, give them that food for thought. And it's going, when you eat it, it's going to be bitter. You know what I mean? It ain't going to be sweet like your Christian pastor wants you to think. It's going to be bitter. It's going to be tough. You know what I mean? It's going to sound good. It feel good to, you know what I mean, learn and understand things and have wisdom. But what you find, you know what I mean, is like we don't always want that. We don't want wisdom. We don't want understanding. We want the lies that make us feel good.
Right.
Because ignorance is bliss. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Verse 2. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll.
Right. So he followed the instructions. Go ahead.
And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness.
Again, when you find out that you the children of the Most High, and you know what I mean, you do have a culture and identity for so long thinking that you didn't have a culture. You know what I mean? It's sweet.
Right.
It's sweet to finally find out who you are. But go ahead.
And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak my words unto them.
Go ahead.
For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech or of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. Not to many people of a strange speech and of a hard language, whose words thou cannot understand.
So this is the problem. See, you sent to the children that the Most High chose. You sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, people that speak the same slang as you. When you tell them that serpent in Genesis is a snake,
right?
Just like we say, still to this day, they're not gonna want to hear that.
Right.
They're not gonna hear that. When they say, when it says, you know what I mean, we aren't to learn from the trees of we aren't to eat from the fruit of the trees of the garden. When we say that those are family trees, like we use to this day, they understand the same language or the same slang that you use. Whether you speak like, I mean, it's all sorts of brothers. You got brothers that speak Patois, Creole. You got brothers that speak Spanish, English. What's it called? What's the Brazilian Spanish? It's called something. Oh shit, I don't know. But Salakia. But you speak. You know what I mean? You speak. No matter what language that you speak, we still incorporate the slang that we use. It's, you know what I mean? It's you. Damn, what is it called? Portuguese.
Kind.
Salakia. But you know what I mean? We still use the same slang. So I mean, we go into a people that understand the way that black people talk, in the way that no matter what oppressor's language we speak, because English is just as much of an oppressor's language as Spanish, and as Portuguese, and as Creole, and as Patois. But you know what I mean, you're not going to a people that don't understand you. Go ahead. You going to your people. You going to your auntie and your uncle and your cousins. You know what I mean? Your blackity black woke brothers and sisters and your cousins and your all of them. Go ahead.
Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto me.
Surely now, if we would have went to these other nations, they would have hearkened, they would have listened. You know what I mean? You know how many oppressors kiss our boots?
Right.
And when they get down on their face and apologize to the children of the slaves, guess who's trying to stop them from apologizing? The children of the slaves.
Right.
That's what happens. Where we at? And this is why you gotta digest this food for thought. This is why you gotta digest this Bible and eat what's in here You got to read it and eat it. Don't reject it. Eat it. Digest it. Put it in your spirit. Because this is why. Go ahead.
Verse 7. But the house of Israel would not hearken unto thee, for they would not hearken unto me.
Uh-huh.
For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted.
They are what?
Impudent and hard-hearted.
They are impudent and hard-hearted. Let's see what impudent means.
I got you.
Impudent.
Definition of impudent. Not showing due respect for another person. Impertinent.
Ooh, that's a perfect word
Real
right there.
talk.
Impudent. You can put it on the screen if you want. But impudent, you know what I mean? These people are impudent and hard-hearted. So not only are we hard-hearted, where we, you know what I mean, we can't have no compassion for one another. You can't tell a drug dealer to get off that corner, man. Stop destroying your people. They gonna be throwing stuff at you and flipping you off and all of that. But let the police roll around the corner. Let them see the police lights, and you gonna see a Houdini act.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're gonna be real quiet and they're gonna disappear. You know what I mean? But not only are they hard-hearted, where you can't tell a stripper to get off that pole and stop selling her body and embarrassing her child. You know what I mean? I remember a couple might have been about a year and a half ago, where it was this what's it called? Influencers. It was like a whole bunch of influencers gathered together. I forgot what it was called, but it was this young influencer. I forget what his name was, but his mother was at the influencer thing,
right,
twerking on the other influencers. And he go over there, he like, Mom, what the hell you doing? Like, he go over there and like push his mama off this dude. And she like, they start laughing. They laughing. It's a joke. This young brother, he couldn't have been too much older than like maybe 11 or 12.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he crying, bro, because he see how sick his mother, how hard-hearted his mother is. You know what I mean? And embarrassing him in front of the entire world on the entire internet. You know what I mean? Where his employment is. That's where he's getting his money. That's where he's getting his trying to build his foundation on the internet. You know what I mean? Which a lot of our talented brothers and sisters do nowadays. You know what I mean? They get on the internet and make the internet make money. You know what I mean? Break them generational curses, right? You got to bring that bag home. But this is what you do on the internet. That's like going to somebody's job and, you know what I mean, getting on the desk and twerking. Like, you didn't embarrass this young brother, and you can't even have compassion that's your son. That is your child that's crying because you would rather be a promiscuous woman. But not only are they hard-hearted, but our people are impudent. Right. Where these brothers in the ISUPK, they done went through the you know what I mean, the hard work that it takes to actually understand this Bible, unlike your Christian pastor. You know what I mean? They go through the hard work to understand this Bible and to have the tools and the knowledge and the wisdom and the compassion to deal with Black, Hispanic, and Native American problems. Yet we can't get no respect. You know what I mean? But you respect that police officer. You respect that Christian pastor that's been teaching you lies for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, for hundreds of years.
Right.
But, you know what I mean, the priests and prophets of the Lord can't get no respect. You know what I mean? We become impudent and hard-hearted. Go ahead.
Con.
This is why it's important to eat what the Most High gave you, because this is what you're coming up against.
Verse 8. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads.
See, when we say, you know what I mean, we just said, we go out there and say God don't love everybody. You know what I mean? You can't fight your oppressor while also trying to love your oppressor. You know what I mean? While also trying to hold hands with your oppressor and make marriages with your oppressor. Right. You know what I mean? But the only way, the Most High has made our heads strong against their heads and our faces against their faces. You know what I mean? The only way to be, you know what I mean, stronger. You know what I mean? The only way to be able to be stronger than the evil that's out here, the lies and the destruction, the destructive thing that we've been eating for the past couple centuries, is to eat this roll. Eat the scroll that the Most High gave you. Eat these words. Eat this food for thought, so that you can be armed with what the Most High actually said, so that you can fight against the lies that's being taught about. See, all we do is get out there and teach the truth. You know what I mean? You think John 3:16 means God loves everybody, and for God so loved the world. We just go to the Bible and show you what the world means,
Right.
and we show you the difference between earth and world. We just go and show you, you know what I mean, whosoever means in the Bible. We show you that in the Constitution when they said, all men are created equal, then that don't mean everybody. We just break it down. We use our words, and because we use our words and we speaking the truth, we harder than you. We harder than you, man. What we are saying is harder than you, man. So if you come up, you try to challenge us in a battle, or you try to challenge us on the street corners, you try to come up against us, man. We always gonna be harder than you because we got the truth. We got the knowledge that's in this Bible.
Right.
That's the only way. Because that Christian church is strong. That Christian church has gotten strong over the years, and not because they, you know what I mean, they tough. It's because they didn't. Because even if you lead that Christian church, it's still in the minds of every Black, Hispanic, and Native American, and it's still in the minds of all these other nations. It's us against the world when we go out there. The only way for you to be hard against the world that's flooded with Christianity is to eat this scroll, eat what the Most High gave you.
Right.
Where we at? Let's get Isaiah 7 and before we get up out of here, Salakia. Isaiah 7 and 15. Verse, as a matter of fact, we might have to start up a little bit higher than that. Isaiah 7 and let's see what 10 talk about. Salakia. Verse 12. 13.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 7, verse 13. And he said, "He now, O house of David, is it a small thing for you to worry? Weary men, yeah. But will ye weary my God also?"
See, it's a small thing for us to be cruel to one another, to weary one another. It's a small thing for that Christian church to just deprive you of knowledge and deprive you of the truth just to put money in their pockets. And when you need them, they won't even look in your direction. They won't even help you unless you evangelist, deacon, episcopal, unless you got a high seat in that church. They won't even consider your problems. And if you are having a problem, not only are they going to ignore your problem, but they're going to make you the topic of their next sermon and embarrass you in that Christian church. Go ahead.
Verse 14.
Will you weary God also? You're going to weary the Most High? You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Verse 14. Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign.
So this is the sign because of because what we've put in our hearts. You know what I mean? The Most High told us how to be and the type of people that we are. But we decided to follow after our oppressor. We decided to eat their food for thought. We decided to eat their doctrine and digest that and put that in our spirit. So this is the sign that the Most High is going to give us. Give the children of the house of David. I mean, when they got to rule over the children of Israel, they became, I can't remember, was it Jeroboam or Rehoboam? I can't remember which one it was, but you know what I mean? The people was like, you know what I mean? Now that it was one ruler that was being real, you know what I mean, being cruel. You know what I mean? He had tough what's it called? Taxes and you know what I mean, things of that nature. He was taxing them into the dust. He was like, the people was like, well, now that you in rulership, can you take some of these taxes up off us? Kind of, you know what I mean? Give us a little break. And the dude was like, look, you thought my father was tough on you. My little pinky will be greater than his loins. And you thought my father was cruel on you. I'm gonna be tougher on you. So that's what we chose to do. So this is the sign, because the house of David, because the children of Israel were so cruel to one another at this time. This is the prophecy that he's given. Go ahead.
Behold, a virgin shall conceive.
A virgin shall conceive. Now, virgin is a young woman of marriageable age. This ain't talking about a woman that's never had sex. And that's another lie that we've digested from that Christian church. A virgin is a young woman of marriageable age. You open up that Zondervan Bible Dictionary, and it's going to tell you just that. But a virgin shall conceive. I mean, and this was a great, I mean, this was to humble them. You know what I mean? Where it will be a dishonor. It's like you having a you be a part of a prestigious family. And what do they say? If you don't you part of a family that's you know what I mean, got a little money, got a little, they proud, you know what I mean, and everybody married, everybody got a marriage contract and a ring and all of that. They had a big old wedding and all of that, and you decide to just you have a baby, what they call having a baby at a wedlock. They're gonna be looking at you like trash. They be like, what are you doing, man? What they call it, shacking up. When sex is marriage. You know what I mean? According to the Most High, sex is what makes you married. But that's how your family gonna look at you. They were like, oh, you just shacking up. Go ahead. But this was the humble them. A virgin shall conceive. Go ahead.
And bear his son.
Uh-huh.
And shall call his name Emmanuel.
It shall call his name Emmanuel. This is a prophecy about Christ. And this Christ, which means the Lord is with us. I believe in the Hebrew it's Amanya Allah. I would have to look at it again. But Amanya Allah, which means the Lord is with us. You know what I mean? That's not saying that Christ is God. That's not what this is saying. It's saying that just like when your house, like just like when when LA was burning, you know what I mean, when California was burning and you saw them helicopters come from Mexico, the same people you want to deport, and you saw the firefighters from them prisons, you know what I mean, come and put them fires out. What'd you say? Thank God. So just like you know, when you see the fire department come when your house is burning down, you know that the Lord is with you. That's what Christ was to the people of Israel. Go ahead.
Verse 15.
And this is why he's gonna. It's like, go ahead.
Come on, Book of Isaiah, chapter 7, verse 15. Butter and honey shall he eat.
What do he eat?
Butter and honey shall he eat.
So Christ is going to eat something. He's going to eat something. And it's going to be very different than what you ate. You know what I mean? You ain't get butter and honey when you was growing up. What you was doing? You was eating ravioli at the can. What you was doing? You was you had to eat the bologna with the red tape on it. You know what I mean? With the government cheese. What you had to eat? You had to eat not having a father. Not having a father in your house. You had to eat that. You powerless to change it. You long for your family, your father. You know what I mean? You long to have a father in your house, or whether he lost his life, or whether he was in prison, or whether, you know what I mean, he just was absent for whatever reason. You know what I mean? You long for your father, but you young, you a baby, you a child. You powerless to change it. So what do? You eat it. And then, what does your mother do? She bringing all types of men in and out the house. All types of men and all types of drama in and out this house. You know what I mean? The man, you bring a man in there to come and violate you. You know what I mean? What do? You're powerless. You go to your mother to tell your mother that this man then violated me, then abused me. And what do they tell you to do? They tell you to be quiet, hush. So because you went to go and tell somebody about your abuse and they ignored you, what did you have to do? You had to eat it. But that's not what Christ ate. What did Christ eat? Read that again.
Butter and honey shall he eat.
Uh-huh.
That he may know to refuse the evil.
See, the Christ knew to refuse the evil. He was a faithful high priest. You know what I mean? He was able to, you know what I mean, be able to deal with the people and be an example of the type of man to be, because he was raised right. He didn't eat, you know what I mean? He wasn't drinking Flint, Michigan water. He didn't have to eat, you know what I mean, not having his father. He didn't have to eat. He was raised right. You know what I mean? His father raised him right, which was the son of David. Go to John 1:45, and it'll tell you Christ is the son of David. As a matter of fact, let's go there. Oh, Salaki. Hold that. We're going to go there before we close out, Salaki. I'll just paraphrase it. But it says John 1:45 that he's the son of David. Go ahead.
Verse 15.
If you could go ahead and finish if you have it.
I got it. Verse 15. And choose the good.
So because he's going to eat because when he went up on that cross, he said it is finished. You know what I mean? Christ or Adam in the beginning, he didn't eat what the Most High gave him. He ate what these other nations wanted him to eat. He ate, you know what I mean, what the serpent wanted him to eat. Christ ate what the Most High wanted him to eat, which was our culture, so that he can eat it and then go to the people and teach them the truth. Go ahead, finish verse 16.
Come, verse 16. For before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, and the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings.
Now, Christ is going to eat what the Most High wanted him to eat from the beginning, and that's how he's going to, you know what I mean? That's how he's going to be able to go to the people, go to our people, and get them out of this condition, man. He's not going to be a drug addict like you were. He's not going to be a, you know what I mean, a drug dealer like you were. But he is going to have compassion on you and come to you and tell you sin no more, because that's what the Most High told you from the beginning. Salakia. With that, Salakia, I know we owe a little over the time. Let me check the comments real quick. He probably, somebody was probably in there. I see a couple of comments. Salakia, I ain't get to address a lot of these, but you know, it's all good. Make sure you know what I mean, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Whether you agree or not, go ahead and share it with all your, you know what I mean. If you got some people that agree with what you say and disagree with what we said, you know what I mean, share it with your Christian pastor and your evangelist auntie and your deacon daddy and your LGBTQ choir members and all of that, and get them all up in these comments. You know what I mean, and get the heckling and ask your questions so we can cut you down with these words, of course. You know what I mean, with the words of the Most High. And if you know what I mean, we're about to end the class now, but you know what I mean, if you want to continue this conversation, if you got something that you wanted to say that we ain't get to address, go ahead and hit that QR code. And you know what I mean, morning, noon, tonight, there'll be brothers up in that chat to answer all your questions, to solve all your problems. Slakia, before we close, it was something that you wanted to say. I saw you looking at the. Oh, Most High Christ. Yeah, go ahead and hit that QR code. We're gonna be in that QR code. You know, we're gonna be in that WhatsApp chat to answer all your questions, solve all your problems. You know what I mean? And with that, let's say I imagine, which means the stand. Give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Individual Mama Shabbat. I imagine. Barak. Yahweh Shibi Yahweh Shah Barak. Yadjabata. Sorry, we're gonna turn to face the sisters. Give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Individual Mama Shabbat. I imagine. Barak. Yahweh Shah Barak. Yadjabata. Bless us.